Now that it is, I'm like, whoa, I'm living my dream as a kid. And I think if you're just doing what you love and showing it genuinely, then opportunities just present themselves to you, and it's just up to you to take them or not.
What's up, guys? Today's guest is a professional movement artist. Please welcome to the JAMCast, Britt Hertz.
What's going on, guys?
Yo.
Excited to be here.
Thanks for joining us. I appreciate it. What's kind of crazy is that we've talked online like several times, but we've only in person ever seen each other one other time.
Yeah, for like 5 minutes. It was a quick meetup.
Like, hey, nice to meet you. Thanks for coming to Jam.
Of course. I love Jam. It's the best gym ever.
I appreciate it. And how long have you been out here in LA?
Officially, I moved into my apartment about 2 months ago.
Wow.
But I've been living, in friends' houses and stuff for a few months and back and forth for over a year.
And
so.
where do you originally call home?
New York.
Oh, no way.
Long Island.
Okay. So I had seen videos of you back there. I just wasn't sure exactly where.
Yeah.
And what made you make the decision to move out to LA?
So once I came here the first time, I just absolutely fell in love. Like, the opportunities out here are endless. The people are so inspiring, and just like me, like back home, no one else really did anything like this. And people are like, why are you always flipping? Like, calm down. And I'm like, no, I'm going to find people where I fit in. And I found like the most awesome people out here. So it's just so much opportunity for growth and just everything, like places to train. You can go anywhere outside and just train, and the gyms here, it's just incredible.
And we don't have that New York cold weather, man.
No, I hate the cold.
Right now it's like 70 degrees and I'm freezing.
Yeah, I was freezing yesterday. So.
Yeah, you're going to become weak out here in LA. You get conditioned to it. Well, that's really cool. One of the reasons I want to have you on here is, like I said, we like to feature people that really can like show others, especially within our communities, how you can just like pursue a career out of all the years that we've spent training. And that's kind of what you're doing right now. So before we like talk about that, how long have you officially been moving or like doing flips, for lack of a better term?
My whole life.
Okay.
So like even in my mom's stomach, when they were giving her an ultrasound, they freaked out because I was climbing her umbilical cord like a rope.
What?
Yeah, I swear to God, they were freaking out. Like, they called all the nurses like in, and my mom was like, what's wrong? Like, is everything okay? And they were like, she's like climbing her umbilical cord like a gymnastics rope. And then as soon as I could walk, I was doing splits, forward rolls, everything. I just couldn't stop. So,
wow.
Yeah.
And so is that something that runs in your family? Like, are your parents athletic or gymnast or?
My mom used to be a cheerleader,
okay.
But like my parents are older. My dad's 73 and I'm 23, so he had me at 50.
Oh wow.
So cheerleading was much different back then and
totally.
stuff. But they were athletes, but
okay. That's kind of crazy.
Not like as intense as anything we see now.
Yeah, totally. That's interesting. I actually have older parents as well. My dad's in his 70s. So
wow.
Yeah, my parents both were a little older. That's interesting.
Yeah, that's kind of like a big inspiration of mine because my dad is pretty sick due to lack of exercise and poor nutrition.
Same.
And that is something that just drives me to keep training and trying to become the best version of myself possible.
Wow, that's really interesting. Yeah, that's something that I see as well. Like, my dad has a lot more health problems than my mom. My mom trains 7 days a week, 4 hours a day, and she doesn't have a gray hair on her head.
Wow.
My dad's like 6 years older, and he significantly looks like his age, Nothing wrong with that, but he totally looks his age,
Yeah.
So I feel that. So what did your parents do then to like, I guess, curtail this energy and stuff? Did they put you into organized sports or tumbling, or did you just constantly drive them crazy?
Yeah, they put me in gymnastics, but I didn't really like it. So I switched to cheerleading when I got a little bit older.
Okay.
I never really liked like competing against my own teammates. Like, I was always a team player. So like cheerleading was great because if your teammates got better, as a whole, you got better. So I always liked like sharing like my knowledge on everything and stuff like that.
I never thought about that you compete against your teammates until you said that.
I didn't like it. It was always like that weird, like, I'm a people person, so I didn't like having weird vibes towards people at all. So
that's so funny. I've literally, like, of all the people I've talked to, I've never thought of it that way, but you're totally right. That's an interesting perspective. Okay, so cheerleading is something that was huge in your life. What age did you start that officially? Do you remember?
Well, I did like not like a real cheerleading team. Like, we cheered for like basketball games, and like they didn't really do stunts or flips very much, but I had some flips that I learned in gymnastics.
Okay.
I was very advanced in gymnastics. I was actually offered to go and train for the Olympics when I was in 3rd grade, and I was competing against people like 3 years older than me and winning.
Okay.
But I just didn't like it. So then cheerleading, I did like that, not really a competitive cheerleading team, like early or late elementary school.
Okay.
And then late high school is when I started doing competitive cheerleading. I competed at the World Championships, got top 10.
Wow.
And then I won 3 collegiate national championships.
No way. And what were you representing, or what school was that for?
Nassau College.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's so crazy. Yeah.
I loved it. It was one of the best moments of my life.
And what's like, what is one of the most interesting things about, like, well, one of the most interesting things to me is that I feel like for a long time cheer got like a really bad rep, but kind of in the last 15, 20 years, it kind of changed with the onset of movies like Bring It On and popular media and stuff, kind of like bringing out the culture and stuff like that. So yeah, that's very interesting. What's like the hardest skill that you had done in cheer as far as tumbling is concerned? Because I feel like I've seen you land a lot of things on your Instagram recently where I was like, oh snap, I didn't know she didn't do that.
Yeah. So tumbling wise, when I did college cheer, it was a non-spring floor, so a lot of things were illegal. So
wow.
double fulls were illegal, which is why I didn't train them. And so I did like this one pass. It was like my signature pass. It was like a front aerial, round off whip, hand full.
Okay.
And then I also did like standing handspring to full. I didn't have my standing full yet, so yeah, I got way better after cheerleading was over. So
That's so funny, right?
Yeah, it's crazy.
And I think that's kind of why I was like perplexed, and it's kind of like you said, like you didn't have standing full, and then like on your Instagram I saw you landing it and I was like, oh wow.
Yeah, I got my standing full, I got my cork, I got my A twist, I got my double full, I got a B twist, I got literally everything after cheerleading was over. I never thought my 23-year-old body would be doing this. Like, I thought once I stopped cheerleading, I was like, oh, wow, I maxed out in my skills.
Totally.
And then I found gyms like Brooklyn Zoo and 5 Star, which are some gyms in New York, which have more like open gyms. And like I started seeing trickers, and I was like, whoa, this is so cool. I want to learn this. Like, I love challenging myself. And once I didn't want to go to school. I only went to college for cheerleading, like, because I wanted to pursue movement, and
Totally.
I didn't know there were other ways. Like, I had no idea. I was so blind to all of this, and like I found those gyms and I saw those triggers and I saw martial arts and all this stuff, and I was just so inspired, and I just started like watching videos and watching them and frame by frame and trying to relearn them, and now I'm surrounded by some of the best athletes in the world, and I think that's why I'm getting these skills, because they're just like, oh, don't be a bitch, Brittany, go do that, like go do it now. And I'm like, all right, Eric Mukamachi, I will go do, or I don't even say his last name right, but I will go and do it, fine. Otherwise, you're going to yell at me, and I'm scared of you.
I said it wrong for about a decade until he came on the JAMCast and told me. Yeah,
Mukamecham.
Yeah. And that brings us to like one of the points, which is like, yeah, you are constantly surrounded by some of the world's like most insane athletes. You currently train with like Eric Mukamechan. You're surrounded by Bailey Payne, Z Zaramba,
Pasha,
Tanner
all
Witt.
of them.
Yeah,
It's just so dope.
It's so crazy. Now, before you moved out here and you were back home in New York, did you train alone significantly when you weren't doing cheer? Like, obviously cheer's a team sport, but how did you level up? Was it on your own, or did you have a group?
Yeah, so I did a lot of training on my own. I was in the gym, like weightlifting, like 5 days a week, 2 hours a day, and then I would go rock climbing once a week, and then I would go to a tumbling gym once a week. Because at that time I didn't have much money, so I couldn't afford to go to those open gyms a lot because it was like adding up. So,
Totally, cause money.
Yeah, so I was doing a lot of it on my own. I had a couple friends out there in New York, but not like consistent training partners that would really push me. So
Wow.
I did a lot on my own, and then Jack and Bailey introduced me to all the guys out here, and that's like where my life changed, and like I feel like I'm just living my absolute dream.
That's so insane. So like in an ideal world now, how often do you get to train currently?
Every day, pretty much all day.
7 days a week.
Yeah, so it's also our job now, so we're always filming and stuff. So whether we're filming a YouTube video for my channel, Bailey's channel, anyone's channel, like we're flipping and training. My weightlifting stopped a bit since I've been doing this, which I want to get back into, but I was just moving and there's been a lot going on, and I wanted to focus on my priorities, which I'm still training, so it's not like I'm not moving or training, but I would like to get back into that a little bit more.
Totally. And how long did you lift weights for? Like, were you super young when you started?
No, I started the day I got my car when I turned 17.
Okay.
So
it's an easy way to remember.
Yeah, it was the day I got my car. I remember on my birthday I signed up at the gym. I was so excited. And then I was doing that pretty hardcore for a few years, and I think that's where a lot of my strength comes and why I'm able to tumble so well on concrete or hard ground. Like I could do pretty much all my skills on spring floor on concrete as well.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And do you have any issues, or did you have any long-standing injuries like over the years, or do you think that maintenance helped you maintain it?
I think that's helped me maintain it, honestly. Like I have, my shoulder will bother me a little, my elbow. I had a minor tear in my knee for a little bit. Well, not for a little bit, but it was a minor tear in my meniscus, and I took care of it pretty well. I was doing a lot of foam rolling, Epsom salt baths, water, anti-inflammatory foods, just taking good care of it, and luckily, I haven't had anything really bad happen.
Thank God, right? Knock on wood. Exactly.
I think a big part of it, too, is understanding how to fall. Like, now being older, like, I make sure if I'm trying something new, I try it on an air track or something first. Totally. And I, understand how I'm going to fall, what are the risks, and if I fall, how do I fall safely? And so now when I'm trying something new on floor, I usually land it first try because I drill it so much. Yeah. But if I don't, I understand how I'll fall and how to fall safely. So I think that's a big thing as to why I don't get injured.
I think that's a huge point. Like a lot of the guys that have come on have talked about air awareness, and like Bailey even spoke about it when he got hit by the car. Yeah. He's like, I fully saw everything. Yeah. I saw the ground and tucked.
That was crazy.
It's so crazy. And now along the lines of like kind of what you're talking about, Connor, pull up some of the bales here.
Oh God, I have so many bales.
Now, one of the things that's funny is that you talked about how you're able to, avoid getting injured because of that. One thing you're synonymous with, especially here at the JAMCast and Jam Breakdowns, is we
all
featured
my fails. I don't think you've ever posted a good video.
All of these fails, and some of these are just epic. So talk us through some of these we're looking at here.
So this one, my base wanted me to do a drill, but I just wanted to go for the flip because I don't like doing the drills. So this drill, you were going from my feet, and then he was just going to catch me on my butt. And the initial goal was a front flip.
Front flip and land on your butt.
Yeah, but we've done that plenty of times. But This day, he wanted to warm up with a drill. And I completely forgot, and I was about to go for the front flip, and I was like, oh no, we're doing a drill. So I kind of stopped mid-thing because I knew he wasn't ready for the front flip. So that's also something you have to be aware of when you're working with a partner, because you don't want them to get injured either. Yeah. So I knew if I flipped, he wasn't ready for it. And there was also a spotter in the way. So if I flipped, I would have probably kicked the spotter.
Kicked him in the face.
Yeah. So that was crazy. But
any injury from that or no?
No, I was laughing. Insane. He was fine.
I'm
always laughing.
I know. And that's what's funny is you always walk them off. And I'm like, wow, this girl's like made of concrete or something.
I know. Everyone says I'm like the queen of bales. Like I fall all the time. I think it's fun. I think it's funny.
And honestly, what's cool to me is that you like put them out on the internet for people to see.
No one gets everything first try. Everyone messes up.
There's some people that are so self-conscious they hide this aspect of it, and this is like totally part of the journey,
I'm like, she went flying, we all went flying. That's my best friend Miranda, by the way. I love her.
Shout out to Miranda.
I love you.
Yeah. And then let's look at one more, Connor. Is there any other one? And then this one,
this was crazy.
This is at the Home Gym Jam.
Oh my gosh, we were dying.
And what were you trying to execute here?
Okay, so we were trying to do a pre, which is a back tuck in one spot, while he dropped. We easily could have done it if he didn't drop, but we thought the drop would make it much harder.
Totally.
We were doing this for like an hour and a half, like dripping sweat, like we were slipping off each other. There were a couple I probably would have landed if we didn't slip off, but he was only in town for a little bit, and he's from Amsterdam or the Netherlands or something. So he was like, I'm not leaving till we do this. I'm not leaving till we do this. And I was like, same. We are going to get this. Like, we have to get this. And we did not get it.
Well, shout out to you. And I wanted to bring this up because I saw some people replicate it, but they weren't dropping.
They weren't dropping.
The difficult
that
part
was the difficult part, yeah.
Yeah. And so how do you think of these challenges? Like, any of these, like this one, for example, is different. Is this just something you were inspired by, or did you guys think of together? Or
we thought of it. So we were actually doing this like thing that we see a lot of acro people do, where they like lay on the ground and the person's like surfing them, and then they jump up to their back and then they jump up to their shoulders. Okay. Which I've done plenty of times. I've based it. I've based guys actually doing it. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Like Travis Brewer Ninja. Yeah, yeah. And Modern Tarzan. I've based both
Nicholas
of them.
Coleridge, yeah.
Yeah, I've held both of them on my shoulders and handstands.
Crazy.
Which I also think is pretty cool. Like, I like being able to hold guys. But so we were inspired by that. And then he was like, why don't you just try? Because we were trying that. And then we nailed it first try. And then he was like, let's try a backflip. I was like, I'm going to break your back. And he was like, I don't care. I don't think you'll break my back. I was like, you are a crazy 16-year-old. Like, how fine. If I'm not hurting you, I'm fine with the fall. I'm either going to over-rotate and fall on my butt, or I'm going to fall forward. So
100%. Well, we're lucky that we got to see it all. It's so funny, right, to just see like all of these insane bails and stuff like that. Well, along the lines of the stuff that you have fallen on, you've also landed like an insane amount of things to be proud of. Yo, Connor, can you pull up like the best of? And like one of the things that I think that's like really, really cool about you is that not only do you put stuff out here so often, but you're kind of like a woman of many talents. Like you can do a lot of different things and skills. And like, did you know how to do partner acro before you came out here? Or is this like a new skill you've picked up?
Yeah, I actually, since cheerleading, I was flying, but I was mostly on a team with 3 bases under me.
Okay.
3 girls. So the one-on-one was so different. And Acro James, that guy actually right there.
Yes.
He was, the first time I came to Santa Monica Sunday, he put me in a hand-to-hand, which is a handstand on someone's hands. And I was never able to do that as a cheerleader, ever. I was like, whoa, this is the best feeling ever. Like, I want to get good at this. And I've definitely grown a lot because I've only been training it for like a year. And it wasn't even a consistent year because when I was back in New York, a lot of the time there was no one really to do it with.
Totally.
So it's pretty new.
That's super insane. And now of this compilation, is there a clip of yours that stands out in your mind as like something you're most proud of doing or achieving? Because there's so much in this compilation alone.
Well, that cork right there, that was pretty gnarly because I was not intending on learning a cork that night. I was just started training them like on the air track and off the air track onto a mat. Okay. And I wasn't very close, but I was doing just gainers. And Adam was like, just swing your leg a little more on an axis and not straight over. And I did a cork, but I fell because I wasn't planning on it. I was like, whoa, that makes sense. Let me just try a cork. And I landed it first try. So that was pretty cool. Oh, this was so scary. That was my first interaction with a snake ever. I've never touched a snake, and then I had it crawling on me. That was scary.
That would be insanely terrifying.
But yeah, a lot of these are super dope. A lot of these went super viral, which I didn't expect.
Exactly. And that's what's so cool is that you have all of this to like, you know, look back and reflect on, and you'll have these memories forever, you know? Like film lives forever. It's so cool. That's
how Instagram started for me. I was kind of just posting my favorite parts of my life. And I filmed a lot of my training to like look back at it and see how I could grow, see where I can get better, just see my life on a timeline. And then things just started blowing up and I was like, whoa, I have 30K and I didn't even know hashtags existed. Exactly. And I had no idea what I was doing. And it's just looking back, like I was in college, I was serving food, I was working like 3 jobs and I was trying to fit my training in, I was barely sleeping, like things just were so different back then. That's so crazy. And that's like a perfect segue because one of the things I wanted to talk to you about is just like the way that you've been able to leverage social media. Do you remember like around what year it kind of started taking off or hitting, you know? Oh yeah, I remember exactly. It was the Fit Expo, not this year, the one before it. So almost 2 years ago now. Okay. It was actually crazy because I was planning on going and then there was a massive snowstorm in New York and our flights got canceled. And I was so upset. I was like, I knew there would be an opportunity there that would just make it for me. And this is Fit Expo LA? Yeah, LA Fit Expo. Okay, cool, perfect. And this was right after I graduated with my 2-year degree of college, and I did not want to go back. I was visiting like 4-year colleges, and I was like, I don't want to do this. There's nothing a degree can get me that would make me happy. And I just want to be happy and travel and meet people and learn. So there was a snowstorm and the flights were canceled. And so the day we were supposed to leave, I called the airport crying and I told them I had a family emergency in LA and I needed to get here, and that was not true, but I really wanted to come. Can't knock the hustle. They found a flight that had like a massive layover in Texas, like for like 12 hours or something. I called my friend, I was like, I got us on a flight, like I'm picking you up in an hour, like we're going to the Fit Expo. And she's like, what? All right, I'm going to pack. And I was like, all right, let's go. So we get there the morning of, like, didn't sleep, go straight there. I had my first viral video. I had my first, like, opportunities to work with brands. Wow. And I met Jack and Bailey, introduced me to all the guys that I hang out with now. No way. So that's how it all started. And if I didn't go, I don't know if I would be here. So that one trip just changed your whole life. It changed my whole life. That's crazy. Do you remember what video was that went viral? Yeah, it was actually one of the ones you played. It was the one of me on the bars at the calisthenics competition. No way. As well as the one in the military the weight vest, suit. Right? Yeah, the pull-up weight vest. Yeah. That's so insane. And so at the current point, do you know what your current social media is amassed as? It's over 500K, right? Yeah, over 500K, close to 600 on Instagram. And then my YouTube is finally growing. I started consistently posting on there 3 months ago. Okay. 3 months ago, I had 7K, and now I have almost 50K. Wow. Which is pretty awesome. And then TikTok, I have over 400K. Dang. Yeah. That's awesome. And so
kind of along the lines of like we talked about how you're able to now do this full time, what is your main focus? Is it just creating content every day? Is it trying to do brand deals? Like what is your main focus and goal out here?
My main focus is just to have fun and entertain. Like as a kid, I always wanted to be an entertainer, but I didn't want to be an actor because I didn't want to have to be someone I'm not. And so like I didn't know this was ever possible, but now that it is, I'm like, whoa, I'm living my dream as a kid. And I think if you're just doing what you love and showing it genuinely, then opportunities just present themselves to you, and it's just up to you to take them or not. And I'm luckily in a position where I can say no to the brand deals I don't want to do, and because I don't want to be fake, and I don't want to, I want to be authentic and genuine, and I also want to get more skills. Like my bio is training to see what the human body is capable of.
Yes.
So that's a big goal of mine. I would love to get into some stunts. I just started trying to like work on some fighting stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, so brand deals are like a secondary thing of just doing what you love.
Yeah. And I think the quote that you said is like the one that really stuck with me, was like, you want to train to see what the human body is capable of, and you're definitely pushing it. It's really insane to see. One of the other things I think that you're really famous for, and that I think I'd be, people would bash me if I didn't bring it up. Pull up the Chainsmokers one.
Yeah, that was crazy.
And so this one went viral as well, and this is also a skill that you are very well known for.
Yeah, it's crazy because I remember being in cheerleading. I think I was in 11th grade, and I like thought of this, and I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it for a long time, and I would randomly just try it because I've never seen it done, and I wanted to do it. And one day it just clicked in my mind. I was like, okay, I have to over-rotate the tuck and then just shoot open, and like I have to like commit to it because I was trying to open up early, and my foot kept getting caught on the ground.
Yeah, totally.
But yeah, so I finally got it, and then this was funny because I randomly got a DM from the Chainsmokers inviting me to their party, and I was like, how? What? Okay, sure, I'll come. So I went, and I did a flip, and the videographer saw me do a flip. I think it was just a flash kick, standing flash kick, and he was like, that is so cool, like, let me get a video on slow-mo. I was like, I got you on even better. So I did a backflip to split, kip up, flash kick, and he freaked out. He's like, I gotta show you to all my friends, you're my party favor. I was like, okay, sure, like, whatever. So the first friend he brought me to was Drew from the Chainsmokers. I did it for him, and then right after this moment he was like, okay, come on, next friend, and I did like 12 more. I was like, did you realize?
Should have started charging.
Like, you're lucky I have stamina because I just went and he filmed everyone's reaction.
It's so awesome.
It was just super cool. Like, it was fun.
Definitely a party trick, right?
Yeah, I love like going to parties and making people like hyped up because everyone is just like bored at parties now. Like,
yeah, 100%.
I don't know. I like hyping people up.
That's so funny. And now, is there any other instance where your flipping or your outgoing personality, do you think, has like gotten you into something cool or into a situation you didn't expect before?
It's just everything I'm doing now. Like, honestly,
like everyday life.
Yeah, everyday life. Like, I'll be doing flips just on the street. And just random people come up to me, whether even it's a little girl, like that just means so much to me when little kids like come up to me and like say I'm an inspiration or they think it's so cool. And I think nowadays a lot of kids spend a lot of time playing video games or being inactive.
Yeah.
And I think it's cool that we can show like you can have fun while training or being active. Like you don't need to go and lift weights if that's not what you like to do. Like you could do anything, whether it's a different sport or flipping.
Totally. And how do you find a balance between like what you're doing? Do you have like a certain thing you pick each day, or you just at this point are just freestyling?
I go with the flow. Yes. I just, wherever every day takes me, I just take that day and I just do what I can with where I am, which I think is what's super cool because a lot of the guys I hang out with and myself, like we all get super creative no matter what environment we're in. Like I posted a video today of me, Pasha, Dom, Corinne, and my friend Phil fighting in an elevator. Like we were just in an elevator and we got a funny idea and we can just get creative with anything given to us. We don't need much. So I think that's really cool.
Yeah, I think that is like a super cool thing that you're getting the chance to do. And now along the lines of you like training every single day and being so active, do you ever feel like body fatigue or muscle fatigue? And like, do you have to implement any like rest schedule or?
Not much, no.
Dang,
actually, I'm pretty impressed.
I'm
pretty impressed.
You're lucky.
I am in better shape now than when I was younger. And I don't know if it's just because my mindset is just so happy and grateful.
Totally.
But I mean, I do get those, like my elbow's been acting up a bit in my shoulder, but like not bad. And when I see that, I kind of just like do less hard skills
Yeah.
for like a day or two, but nothing crazy. Like, I'm just so happy every day, so I just wake up so driven and just wanting to do more.
That's super cool. And is there one aspect, now that you're like split in so many directions, is there one aspect that will always have your heart, that you'll always go back to?
Probably tumbling.
Okay.
I just love flipping. You don't need anyone else. You don't need anything. You just have you and your body, and I just love tumbling.
100%. That's super cool. Now, along the lines of you branching into other things like partner acro and stuff like that, is there any other things at this point that you're like looking into to further challenge yourself? And are the challenges you're looking for these days like mostly physical, or are you looking for mental challenges? Like,
kind of everything. Yeah, I don't really know like what else there really is. Like, I want to learn more martial arts and stuff like that.
okay.
But I don't really know what else like exists. Like, once I see something, I want to do it. Like,
That's almost scarier, that you're just waiting to be exposed to something, and then you'll
Yeah.
just like swoop it up. Yeah.
yeah, I can't really think of breakdancing would be cool, I guess, to learn too.
Ah.
It's really hard though. I've tried to do like windmills and stuff, and
Yeah,
flares, and it's hard.
Yeah, I always ask because, like, for me, you just said it. Like, my secret passion, which Connor knows, is like I would give up everything to be a b-boy, like deep down inside.
Yeah.
Like, I would give up everything to be a b-boy, or to be able to like play the guitar and sing really well.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
That's
so
sick. I wish I could sing, but I am not a good singer. But I was actually on a breakdancing team in New York.
Oh, no way.
I performed for a minor league NBA team.
Okay.
This was actually something I don't know if I should talk about, but I auditioned for the Brooklyn Nets hype team, which is all male.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
I have to say, I killed it. I was probably one of the best tumblers there. I dunked the basketball off the trampoline.
Yeah, which is hard.
Which is hard,
People don't
especially
know
at
it's
my
hard.
size. I'm a lot smaller than those guys, and I was doing the same distance.
Totally.
And they called me the next day, and they were like, "You made the team. We were so impressed." And then they called me back like a month later saying, "'Cause I'm a girl, no." And I was like, "What?" And they were like, "But we are doing a minor league team, which will have boys and girls. So we'd love to have you on that. You don't need to try out." I was like, "Okay, I'll do that." But I thought that was crazy, that because I was a girl.
Crazy. Yeah.
Politics, man.
That's really crazy. And I literally was just going to ask you, like, I was just literally going to say, like, I don't mean to make this about your gender, but like we have a lot of female listeners that have kind of just left comments saying that they like to hear more about the female experience. I was going to ask if anything has stood out, and that's a pretty crazy story. Yeah.
Yeah, that's like
super
my
insane.
one negative experience
Okay.
as a girl. Everything else has been super positive. I don't really have many haters or mean comments or anything like that, which is super awesome. But yeah, everything else is just positive about being a girl. Everyone's more like, wow, it's so cool that you're always around guys, like challenging yourself to keep up with them.
Totally.
Like, it's more positive experiences. But that one thing, that was really upsetting because I was like way younger, like didn't have much money again, and like that was a dream to like, because I didn't want to be a dancer. I didn't want to just, wear like nothing and just shake my hips. Like, they're also super talented, but I wanted to be like one of the b-boys and one of the flippers and one of the people that jump on trampolines and do big tricks. And I thought that would have been great, but they really let me down.
Well, look at you now, right?
I know.
Like, look at me now.
I know. I'm
That's
not
super
mad
cool.
anymore. But.
So for like a little girl that's out there, let's say, we have a young girl listening from New York back home, and she wants to get into doing what you're doing. Do you have like any advice on how she should start her movement journey in general?
Yeah, just get into those open gyms, make friends with everyone. That's something I did. Like, no one's your enemy. Everyone in those gyms are all in the same place as you. They're all wanting to learn and willing to share what they know. I kind of like to look at people, like observe their skills and like see what I think I could do, and then ask a question. Like, you kind of got to know like what your mission is. Like, you can't just go in and be like, I want to learn flips, I don't know where to start. I think it's cool to like observe or like see a video online, like an aerial. Like, I want to learn this. I think my body can do this. And so you'll ask someone that you see doing it, and that's kind of just like how you'll start, is just don't be afraid to ask and be everyone's friend.
I think that's great advice, especially targeting like a specific skill is cool, instead of just getting completely like overwhelmed with trying to get into things like that.
Yeah.
Well, that's super cool. And so like right now, I guess now that you're in LA full time and you're just working on video and content creation, do you have any like immediate goals for yourself in the next few years, or where do you see yourself like taking this from here, I guess?
I would like to make enough money to buy my parents a house.
Oh, wow.
By the time I'm 25, so I got like a little over a year. Because like I said, my dad's not doing well, and another reason why I didn't want to go the normal route of college, degree, career, that stuff is because my dad is a math teacher and he's 73 and he can't retire. They can't pay off our house. And he's really struggling. He has to commute to the city every day. He has to walk through the snow to get to his classes, and like it's just not an easy thing, and I hate seeing them struggle. They've done a lot for me. So I would love to make enough money to put them in a house somewhere a little warmer where they don't have to shovel and like get stressed out, and I just want to take care of them. That's like my first goal.
Okay.
Second goal is just to inspire people, just to live a good, happy, fun life, and don't be afraid to be yourself, because at the end of the day, people will hate on you no matter what. So you might as well end up doing what you love, because you will just ignore that because you're just so happy with what you're doing.
Totally.
But yeah, other goals, just to get more skills, maybe. I just want to keep learning. I would love to get a standing dub back off of something outside onto sand.
Okay.
I think that would be sick. And a double cork off of something onto sand as well.
Okay.
That would be really cool.
Those are pretty good goals, and you've said them out loud now, so we're going to hold you to it.
Oh, yeah. I've been saying them out loud, so.
I think I've seen you try double backs like off of blocks into pits before and stuff like that.
Yeah,
so.
I do those every now and then when I like remember to, because sometimes you just like can't remember like what skills you want to work on, but I do try to work on those. I just got my Castaway, which is really exciting.
Which is something, yo, Connor, pull that up really quick. We did actually see that. And then what's crazy is, like you said, I don't know of anyone else that has like acquired so many more skills recently than you.
Yeah.
Which is insane.
Yeah, I watch it, and if I can picture in my brain me doing it,
yeah,
I know I could do it. And on this day, I was only throwing them into the foam pit, and I only threw them less than 20 times into the foam pit. And then there was like the last night I trained them before this, I did one onto a mat, and I landed one. And I was feeling really good this day. It was really warm. I was just really happy. I woke up and I was like, I want to do a Castaway. I was like, Dom, Corn, Toad, let's go to Venice. Like, I want to get a Castaway.
Okay.
It's happening. I feel it. I feel the energy.
Yeah.
And I knew if I fell, I would again either over-rotate onto my butt or I would fall forward. And I'm good at falling like that. So I was like, there's really no risk. Like, I might as well send it. So I did, and I fell like the first 5 or 6 times, but finally got it. I think my main problem is I can't bend my knees, which I have that problem in a lot of my skills. I make so many things so much harder. My standing full, I have straight legs. My cork, I don't use a J-step. I literally it's pretty much a standing full off of one leg.
Yeah, you do like a turn.
Yeah, I don't, the J-step is the hardest part. And then this, I don't bend my legs. I make everything way harder than it should be, which I don't know how I do it, but
it's kind of
cool.
like your own style though, right?
Yeah. I think it's clean. I think it's all looks clean too,
yeah.
so.
100%. And is there a skill that you're the most proud of? Is it the cork that you talked about before?
The cork, the double full,
oh, you'll
standing
kind of pull that
full,
one
and the
up.
Castaway. I'm equally as proud of all of them.
Okay, so that's cool. That it's like having children, right? Like
Yeah.
you can't pick one.
I can't pick one.
You're like, I
don't
can't
know.
pick one. Yeah.
The cork was crazy because I never imagined myself ever being able to do that. Like when I
Yeah.
first saw trickers, I never thought my body was possible. Like I said, like if I can see it in my brain, I could do it. But I couldn't see that in my brain for a long time. Double fulls, I was trying so hard my whole cheerleading career
Yes.
before I did college, because that was like a main skill. If you had that, you're one of the best cheerleaders.
So, yeah.
So I could never get it, and it was killing me. Same with the standing full. I was like, my body's not capable of this. And, 5 years later, it is. So
it's crazy. And when you watch that, it's like you clearly have the height to do the double full.
yeah, that was
You
my
just have
first
to unlock
attempt
it.
that night too. I threw it one other time at Tempest a few months ago, and I did a round up back handspring double.
Okay.
And I overspun, over-rotated, missed my feet, and smacked my head. So
I've seen that happen.
yeah, I was like, I'm going to take it down a few notches. I'm going to try it out of a round off with only 2 steps. And I mean, I don't think I spun fully around, so I want to go work on them again. But
yeah.
that was my first attempt that night. So I was really happy that I landed on my feet.
That's so funny. Well, you definitely, like I said, you put it out there on the double back and the double cork. So I hope the world holds you to it.
Yeah, I mean, I think the double back would be first.
Yeah.
But again, it needs to be one of those days where I wake up like that Castaway.
Totally.
Where I'm like, I'm ready to do it, and I need to find a good setup too where it's like safer, because I know
Yeah.
it's a lot of impact. especially on my like little legs compared to like people like Eric and Pasha.
Compared to all the guys, right? Yeah.
But I think it's a possibility. So.
And so along the lines of that, comparatively to like all the guys that you train with that we've spoken about being legendary, just one of the last questions I have for you is a female specifically and just you in general is there anyone that you watch or look to for inspiration at this point in your career? Or are you at a point where you're kind of past that, you know, kind of like we talked to some guys on here where they get to a point where they've kind of caught up to their idols.
Yeah.
So now they like look for, like Pasha looks for inspiration in fail videos.
Yeah, and silent movies. He watches a ton of silent movies.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So is there anything that inspires you in your movement at this point in your life?
I can't like. I kind of just watch the guys because I'm always training with them. I don't really watch a lot of videos on social media anymore because I spend enough time on my phone, like filming, editing, like answering emails, answering my messages, like. So I don't really watch a lot of people, but just the guys mainly because they're always there to do them, and I watch them, and I'm like, oh, I could picture this, or I'm filming them where I'm filming it in slow motion and reviewing it with them, and I kind of like learn by that. But yeah, those guys are. Yeah, they're
your
my
training
biggest.
Squad is one that everyone's pretty much jealous of.
Yeah, I love them. I am grateful.
Yeah,
I will not take them for granted.
Yeah, if you don't get better by hanging out with that group, something's wrong.
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
Yeah.
And as you could see, I have nailed a bunch of skills that my 18-year-old body couldn't do at almost 24. So
yeah, and one of the things we're excited about is not only will you be joining us next week for the Jam Gathering, but pretty much your whole training crew is going to be joining us as well. So if people want the chance to come out and train with you, hopefully they'll get to go by the Jam Gathering. And
I'm so excited.
Yeah,
I can't wait to meet Shosei and like,
yes.
Oh my gosh, I can't wait to just see them. Like, I'm gonna be pumped.
It's
like,
so insane.
Like I watch Shosei on Instagram.
Totally.
But he like blows my mind. It's like, that's not real. I'm watching a cartoon or something. Like,
and it's crazy that he's only been training for 4 years. We're like,
wow,
mind blown. Yeah.
Wow, he was meant for this. He probably was climbing his mom's umbilical cord too.
Exactly. When he comes by, I'm going to interview him and I'm going to ask him the same thing. Heck yeah. Well, that's perfect timing. Your episode's going to come out literally the day of the Jam Gathering starting.
Wow,
so hopefully people that are listening to this, come on down and join us. It's November 22nd and 23rd. And
come on down, guys. I'll teach you a backflip to split.
Let's do it. And sign a waiver first before you learn it.
Wear protection
That
gear
is required. Heck yeah. So before we get out of here, I know you got a busy schedule. One thing I always end on, and it's not to add pressure. Some people don't have an answer, but it's mostly so that let's say we interview you down the road, we can look back on this and reflect. But where do you see yourself in 5 years from now, or where do you see yourself 10 years from now? Do you think you'll still be doing the same stuff? Do you think you'll still be here in LA, or do you think that things will change at that point in your life?
I don't know if I want to live in LA forever. I definitely want to live here for a few more years and try to build up my career and make enough money to where I don't need to ever have a real job or anything like that.
Totally.
I want to still live in California, maybe just a less hectic place. I definitely still see myself training and flipping. I want to be able to do a backflip and an aerial at least until the day I die.
Wow. Same.
So I don't ever want to stop flipping. It's a huge part of me, and it's just what makes me happy. Like once you're training, like you forget about all your problems and you're just focused on you and growing, and I love that, and I love the community and the support. So I think I'll still be doing all that.
Well,
I don't think much will change.
I have no doubts, yeah, especially with how we've seen you just continue to level up over time. But more than anything, I really appreciate you coming by, and hopefully, some of our listeners, especially the female ones, will really just get to use your story as their own source of inspiration, So we really appreciate you taking the time to come out.
Thank you for having me.
Hell yeah. So real quick before we get out of here, swing this mic in front of you, look into that camera, and let people know where they can stay up to date with your social media and follow you.
All right, you guys can follow me on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. My username is the same across the board. It is just Britt Hertz.
Heck yes. That's perfect. Super smart. And as always, guys, please be sure to hit that like button, comment, subscribe for brand new episodes each and every week. Join us every Monday for brand new Jam breakdowns and every Friday for brand new JAMCast interviewing influential members of the movement community like Miss Britt Hertz herself.
Hey, love you guys.
Hell yes. As always, guys, got to give a special shout out to Mr. Connor Simon for running the cameras and the switcher app as always. Got to give a special shout out to our guest this week, Miss Britt Hertz.
Hey.
And as always, guys, coming through, I'm your host, Travis Wong. Thanks for joining us here on another JAMCast. Until next time, we'll see you all soon. Peace.